Hi everybody, welcome to Yoga with Anadil. I'm Anadil. Today's class is all about getting twisted. So we're going to work with twists in which we will rotate gently through the spine. Yoga teaches us that twists in our postures are detoxifying. And this is said to be done by compressing our internal organs while we're in the twist. And then as we release from the posture, fresh blood supply nourishes these internal organs, creating a flushing effect. So let's hop into the mat and let's get started. So we'll start seated and begin to just open and warm through the spine a little bit before we get deeper in. So as you stand tall through your spine, you allow your shoulders to rest and your hips to relax. And we begin to focus on the breath so that we can remain mindful and present and safe as we move our body into these postures. So as we breathe in, we rise on up through the spine, allowing the belly to softly bellow. And as you breathe out, maybe just concentrate on relaxing through the neck, through the shoulders as you breathe out. As we breathe our next breath in, let's take our arms as wide as you can, keeping the gaze low, and as you breathe in, the gaze follows up towards your hands as they press together. This time, as we breathe out, let's split the right hand forward to the center of you in the front and behind you for support on the back. So you can rest on fingertips as you take your gaze over towards your left. As we breathe in, we'll bring our arms back up, palms facing each other. And as we breathe out, we'll take the left hand forward, the right hand back for support. Get tall through the spine so you can use your fingertips to create a little bit of height, and lead around to the right hand side with your heart and your gaze. Keep breathing, allowing that soft, easy breath to nourish your body as you move. Let's do that a few more times with the breath. So breath in, back to center, breath out, allow the shoulders to come down as your heart and gaze move around to the left. Breath in, palms up towards the sky, towards each other, and resting down onto the ground in front of you as you move towards the left hand side. Sorry, your right hand side. And then let's breathe in. And let's just bring the palms together. Keep breathing out as your palms make their way to the heart center. So let's come onto our knees. And we'll just work a little bit into our twists in our tabletop position. So in your tabletop position, again, just invite the front of the body to the back of the body so we're nice and neutral, so we're not just kind of hanging into our spine. And as we breathe in and out, we'll gently begin by taking your right hand, bringing it up towards your heart as you breathe in, opening your heart towards the right as your right hand lifts up towards the sky. And as you breathe out, your hand, your fingertips sprinkle down towards the earth. The gaze follows this, and maybe you even take a little gaze and a little turn towards your left hand side. Again, breathe in, you take your hand across your heart, open into a gentle twist to the right hand side. And just make sure you're relaxing through your shoulders. Keep breathing. And see if you can create a lot of space between your ribs, your waist, and your hip by taking your hip further back behind you. Keep breathing. Let's do that one more time. The top hand sweeps all the way down towards the earth. maybe even around you to the opposite side. This time you may even hug around onto your left ribs, and as you breathe in and turn towards your right, you can pull those ribs towards the right hand side as you reach up across your heart and up. And let's hold it there and breathe. And as we're breathing, we're pressing the tops of the feet into the earth. We're gently drawing up our navel back towards our spine. And the heart is shining up towards the sky as much as possible. If you have any neck issues, you can keep your gaze neutral to the front or down towards the earth. As long as you're breathing and creating as much space in your body by reaching up and your heart back and your hips back, that's all that matters. Breathe, and let's bring that down. And we'll do that once again on the other side. So this time taking your left hand to your heart, and I'm just going to spin around to the front so you can see me. We're going to start with our left hand at our heart center. As we breathe in, we'll take the heart towards the left, followed by the gaze as we reach up towards the sky. And as we breathe out through the nostrils slowly, we'll sweep the hand down. Maybe the hand goes across to the opposite side, followed by the gaze. Let's hug those fingertips around to the ribs. And as we breathe in, draw the ribs underneath you and towards your left hand side, breathing in and up. And as you breathe out, again, let's just flow with the breath, keeping the gaze low. You hug around with your hand to your fingertips onto the ribs. And as you breathe in one more time, collect the heart, lift it up towards the sky as you open up towards your left hand side. And this is where we'll stay. So just invite the shoulders away from the ears so there's a lot of space. And breathe deeply. And softly. It's almost that sleepy breath that nourishes us while we're asleep. And next breath out, we'll bring both hands down to the ground. And from here, we're going to stay here if you prefer on all fours, or we're going to lift on up into down dog. So whether you're on all fours or in down dog, you're going to stretch the calves. So if you're in down dog, you can pedal out the knees, the calves, the heels by walking and straightening one leg and then the other. If you're staying on all fours, you can simply reach back, leg by leg, inviting a stretch through the back of the leg in turn. And then let's take a look at our hands, and gently and slowly as we breathe, we'll stroll towards the front of the mat. Today we're going to keep our arms long and heavy down towards the earth, so that we might even bend our knees in order to reach the ground with our hands. And we're going to allow the neck to relax, the crown of the head to relax. And as we breathe slowly in and out as much as we need to, we're going to imprint our feet into the ground and vertebrae from the tailbone curling down, walking upright with the vertebrae as we come to standing. And once we're standing, let's roll the shoulders back, keep breathing as we roll the shoulders forward. Let's bring our hands to heart center. And as we breathe in, let's press our feet into the ground, make footprints into the mat, take our arms wide, and as we breathe, we'll rise on up with the heart, followed by the gaze and the palms press. As we breathe out, we'll bend through the knees, placing the hands down onto the earth, allowing the crown of the head to fall forward. And just see if you can feel the weight between heels and toes and get equal. Let's see if you can create a bit of length in the spine, shake out any tension in the neck and breathe. As you breathe in, we're going to slide our hands either up to our thighs with the elbows hugging back and shoulders back, or maybe you find yourself down onto your shins, or even down onto the ground with your fingertips. But the heart is forward, the legs are straight as you breathe. The crown of the head is reaching forward and the back of the neck is long. As you breathe out, let's bend our knees, place the hands down onto the earth, lifting through the right leg. Maybe aim for touching that heel towards your bottom, and then the heel reaches all the way back, and dial those toes on that knee down towards the earth. And then bend that standing leg so that your back foot reaches as far back, shuffling it back if you need to, and then let's drop that right knee down to the earth. So with that right knee down, let's place both hands onto that left thigh. Draw the hands back so that your thigh and your hip crease level through the hips, level through the pelvis. And as we breathe in, we'll take a straighter front leg, and as we breathe out, we'll slide into our lunge. Again, breath in. Slide the front hand on the thigh back so you level through the pelvis and bend through that front leg. Now, staying into that lunge, we'll reach down with our fingertips, and as we breathe in, just like we did when we were seated, we'll reach up towards the sky with our fingertips. And as we breathe out, we'll take the left hand down towards the left knee, and the right hand can be on your hip, it can be on the palm can be on the small of your back, as we do an open twist. So from here, first of all, we'll lengthen through the spine, breath in, and as we breathe out, our navel and our heart reaches around to your right hand side. So it's an open twist. And then maybe your right shoulders, your right shoulder moves towards the back, followed by a rotation in the top of your spine, which is your neck. So let's take the gaze and sweep it all the way around. And then let's release the bend in that front knee, so straighten slightly. As you breathe in, we'll take the arms back up towards the sky, palms facing each other. As we breathe out, let's lean into that front knee one more time, and this time we'll split your right hand onto that left leg for a closed twist. So we're twisting the heart over the thigh. So you can have your right hand onto your knee or your thigh, your left hand on your hip, again the palm on the small of your back, but first of all we'll lift. So try not to collapse, just find as much space as is available to you today with your breath. And keep pressing all of the toes into the earth. Maybe even lift the arches to activate the legs. And then lift through the heart as you breathe in. And as we breathe our next breath out, we'll invite the navel and the heart over towards your left hand side. Maybe the left shoulder moves back, and maybe your gaze goes as far around over that left shoulder as you can. And wherever you've landed is the right place for you, so let's just breathe. And while we're breathing, you can explore with the breath to see if you need to ease off, and your body will be talking to you about that. Or you can maybe even find a little bit of space to move into with your breath. As we breathe our next breath in, Let's take both hands once again up towards the sky. As we breathe out, we'll bend through the elbows, bring our hands down onto the earth and around that front foot. We'll take that front foot towards the back, so both knees are on the ground, and we'll circle through the hips. And then once we've done that, again you can stay on all fours, you can move into cat-cow, which is sinking an arch into your back or curling up through a curled back towards the sky, or you can lift on up into down dog. From here, let's all raise our right leg towards the air, again dialing the toes and the knees towards the earth to parallel through the hips, and as we breathe out, we'll bend that leg, bring the knee into nose, and gently roll on that back foot so that your foot falls forward as far as you can. And wherever it lands, you can help it along until it reaches in between the hands. I like to rise up onto my fingertips here for a bit more space, because as you breathe in, you can slide that back foot up, you can hop that back foot up, straighten through the legs, and slide the hands either to your thighs, your shins, or onto fingertips into our flat back, table back position. Draw up through the knees and the thighs, and as we breathe out, melt your hands down towards the earth. And as we breathe in, press the feet into the ground, make imprints into the earth, and rise on up, taking the arms wide, keep breathing in, keep offering the heart and the energy up. And as you breathe out, bring your hands to heart center, inviting the energy and the grounding through the back of the body. Let's do the other side. Breath in, rising on up. With the arms, with the gaze, palms pressing. Make sure your navel is nice and strong in towards the back. As you hinge forward, reaching the fingertips all the way behind you and down towards the earth as you bow down into forward fold. Let's breathe in and slide our hands up either onto thighs, your shins, or to fingertips to create length in the back. Shoulders are moving far behind you and towards the back of the mat. And as we breathe out, we'll slide the hands down onto the earth. So this time we'll lift through the left leg, and this time the heel is really reaching for the bottom. And then with the toes facing down towards the earth, we'll lead with the heel to push an imaginary wall behind you, and gently soften through that front leg so that your back leg can land. And again, feel free to shuffle to create more length as you drop that back knee. We'll bring our torso up, placing both hands onto that front knee and drawing that right thigh back. Lean in as you breathe out. Travel with the length of your breath. Breath in. Draw that right hip back, get it nice and level. Keep that levelness. It's a firm foundation ready for our twist as you breathe down into your lunge. Reach the fingertips down into the earth, and as you breathe in, we'll reach our fingertips forward as we invite our hands up towards the earth. And we'll split the right hand forward onto the right leg and the left hand onto the hip or the sacrum into our open twist. So big breath in. Press gently into that front hand to create length in the vertebrae before we rotate. And as you breathe out, the navel and the heart reach around to your left hand side. followed by the gaze. Remembering our thighs are gently energized, our feet are still imprinting into the earth, so we're rooting and firm and stable before we move deeper into our rotation. So with every breath, if you feel like you're arching a lot through your back, pull your navel in and your heart towards your back. You may feel like you lose the bend, but it's far better for your body. It creates more strength, and from that strength then you can move into more flexibility, more rotation with steady effort in time. And big breath in, taking the arms wide, palms towards the sky, fingertips up towards the sky. And as we breathe out, we'll split. This time the left hand goes over that right knee, and this time your opposite hand goes behind onto your hip, so it's your right hand onto your hip or the sacrum. And again, firm foundations, imprint into the earth, big breath in, lift through the spine, maybe even lengthen down through the tailbone, and as you breathe out, you gently draw your heart and your navel over your right leg. Keep moving that right shoulder behind you as much as you can, keeping the collarbones nice and wide, almost like they're smiling. Really compressing through some of the internal organs. Keep drawing up through the thighs, and then just move your gaze around over that back shoulder as much as you can. As we breathe in, come off a little bit on that front leg. Bring the hands up towards the sky, just so we're easing through the hips a little bit. It's quite intense, well done. As we bring our hands underneath our shoulders once more. Again, I like to be on fingertips personally, it just creates a little bit more space for me. As I bring that front leg to the back. And again, let's circle the hips. This time, go in the opposite direction that we want to naturally go. So whichever way you went last time, let's move in the opposite direction. If you can't remember, it really doesn't matter. Maybe just go both ways. And let's go in the opposite way just in case. And let's come to stillness. Let's walk our knees in towards our hands, sweep our feet to the side to come to seated, or you have a choice if you'd like to try is to cross your ankles and roll over. It really doesn't matter how you come back to sitting, as long as you do it in a way that's safest for you. And once you are sitting, we will just take a few moments to feel the effects of what you have done with me today. So rest your hands onto your lap. And just breathe gently. And just feel perhaps the change in temperature in your body, perhaps a change in your breath, and maybe any sensations you might be feeling as you work through your mind, through the body. Let's place one hand on top of your heart, and let's place the other hand on top of that. You may even feel your heart beating. You may hear the sound of your own breath, so feel free to close your eyes and just connect to where you have brought yourself to through this practice today. Just a short time spent rotating through the spine into our twists, nourishing the body with the breath, calming and focusing the mind through all of that activity. And just notice how you feel. With the recognition that there's no right and wrong in the postures that you've made, the shapes that you've made, as long as you are moving with your breath to a place that feels right for you and extending honestly into your movements with awareness, then that is yoga. This is yoga. So let's gently blink open the eyes, maybe keep the gaze low for now as you adjust to the light and the colours coming in. Let's take a couple of deep breaths in to close our class today. Let's reach the fingertips down, maybe down with the gaze, chin to chest. As we breathe in, rising on up towards the sky. And as we breathe out, please let it just sigh out or blow out as feels good for you. Let's catch the very last residual bit of it as you breathe in, and once again let it go and just let it be. Thank you once again for practicing with me today, and I'll see you next time. Namaste.